You can walk into a garden that is so chaotic, that has weeds everywhere, the plants are sprawled all different directions, and there might be some dying leaves, there might even be some plants that completely didn't make it. And still, you're likely to find fruit. There's still likely to be benefit in that garden. At least a lot more benefit than if the garden was never planted in the first place. So in your own life, there's probably areas that aren't perfect, that might be a little messy, but they're still providing value. And you don't want to miss out on that value just because you want it to be perfect. I hope you don't wait to garden until you have time to create the beautiful gardens that you see online. I hope you don't wait to do whatever the task is, whatever your pursuit is. Even if it's just doing a load of laundry, don't wait until you can fold everything perfectly. Don't wait until you can do all the dishes and put them in the dishwasher just right to begin. Get started because there's still value in progress and imperfection. It doesn't have to be perfect. Hi, I am A. Rose. I am a Vanderbilt grad turned rural stay-at-home mama who has struggled a lot with perfectionism in my life. There are a lot of times that I didn't do the thing that I needed to, or at least put it off, because I didn't have the perfect idea of how to execute. I didn't feel like I was yet ready to build the perfect outcome. And I am trying to let go of that, especially as I live life in nature where things are never perfect, no matter what. And honestly, the beauty of nature is the imperfection. So I'm learning from nature to just move forward with progress and slowly build and get better and better, but release the need for perfect. And it's a good thing I'm releasing the need for perfect, or I would not be showing up today. Today is day 8 of 10 of my 10-day commitment to show up in the garden every morning, work on some things that need to be done, care for my plants for at least 15 minutes, and then record a video about the lesson I had. Today, the tasks I did were I trimmed off some dead leaves on the tomatoes, which made me think about how they weren't perfect, which led to this video. I also harvested some tomatoes, which reminded me that imperfect plants can still bear fruit. And I looked for squash bugs on my zucchini squash because I tell you, last year they destroyed it. That was one pest that I will have to make sure there's none of, for the most part. I mean, there can be a few. Last year they destroyed it because I was pregnant and I didn't want to get out here early because I was sick, and I let way too many have eggs and grow. This year, I know if I don't see every single squash bug, it will be okay. There will still be fruit, even if there's a few squash bugs, but I've got to at least keep it kind of under control, or I won't have any. So I checked for squash bugs today, and that was about all. I had to stick to the 15 minutes because this morning was a little bit less smooth than normal. Jerry woke up a couple times last night. He's my 5-month-old baby, including at 3:45, which is my least favorite time because by the time I'm going back to sleep, I just get into my deep sleep before I wake up at 5. But I got up regardless because of this commitment. And then I needed to do a task for our land clearing company, make an estimate. It was important to get done. Dannon needed it. Dannon is my husband. So I got that done, gave it to him, and then I got out in the garden. I did not quite fulfill my goal of being out with the sunrise. I still saw the sunrise today. It was beautiful. I had to get out a little bit later, but I still showed up. Even though it wasn't as early as I would like, even though I already felt behind, even though I also am watching our kiddos this morning because it's Dannon's morning to ride the horse. He usually helps me watch the kiddos right when they wake up before I come back inside to make breakfast. But today he needed to ride his horse, and so it was my turn, and for me to watch the babies. So that's another way that it is imperfect. But you know what? Some of my videos that I'm most proud of have been when it's imperfect. Like a couple days ago, he rode and there was a lot of chaos and I thought it wasn't going to work out, but it did. And it ended up being a fine video, a video I like. And I'm glad I've continued to show up even though it's not been perfect. Just as my tomato plants proved today, fruit can grow in imperfect messes. Who knows the results of my videos will be what they will be in the future, but it is just as likely that a video that was imperfect could do just as well as another video that I thought was perfect. I tell you what, a video produced is a lot better than a perfect video in my head, and that is one reason I've made this commitment, is just to show up, because I was spending way too much time creating imaginary videos that were perfect in my head instead of just getting it out there. And just doing it can bear fruit. Imperfect action still is progress and still has potential to benefit your life. So how do we recognize when it's perfectionism? How do we recognize that tendency when it shows up? I think the biggest warning sign for me is delaying a task. Procrastination is a sign that I'm waiting for the perfect moment. And this can be small tasks. This can even be cleaning my kitchen, where I'm like, okay, well, the dishwasher isn't done running yet, so I'm gonna wait to wash the milk bucket until I can also unload and load the dishwasher. Like, oh, if I do it all together, that's the ideal way to do it. And it's like, no, just wash the bucket. Like, just do the small part of the task. I don't have to do all of it. I don't have to finish it. I don't have to do it in this perfect way to get it to have value. And so I think when I delay, especially small partial tasks, it's a good sign that perfectionism is showing up. Also, if I'm taking too long in a task, it's a good sign that perfectionism is showing up. Like if I'm taking too long to outline a video, or I'm taking too long to load the dishwasher just perfectly, then it's a good sign to catch myself and remind myself to, done is better than perfect. Let's just do this. The internal dialogue is another thing to watch for. I'm hoping all of us have heard enough to know that we need to watch what we're talking about in our heads. But if you're thinking, oh, this isn't good, or let me just get that straighter, or let me just get out that one wrinkle, it's a good sign that you might be in the perfectionistic loop. I think one of the biggest areas that perfectionism shows up is in creative work. And I'm not just talking about drawing, though it definitely shows up there. I'm talking about creating anything, creating a garden, creating a beautiful home, creating meals. I tell you, I literally, for the longest time, was so slow at chopping vegetables, and I'm still not perfect because I was trying to make them all the same size. They were going to get cooked and eaten. Who cares if they were the same size? But even cooking is kind of a creative pursuit, and I think we have to watch for it there. Obviously, recording videos, very creative. I think when you're putting something out into the world, you're starting with an idea and then you're delivering on it. It's really easy to be perfectionistic because it feels like it's a reflection of you. Even cooking can be a reflection of you, of the value you provide, of what you can create. And so it's easy to want that to be the most ideal reflection. So watch for it when you have those, the creative urges. Start before you're ready. Start before you're perfect. Cook the first home-cooked meal before you really know how to chop vegetables. Start the garden before you have time to take care of it completely and to make sure that you come out and pull every weed. You don't have to. It can be a little messy. You're going to have to put in some work. I'm not saying that you can have a garden by doing no work, but I'm saying that you can have a garden even if you don't have time to do a lot of work. Like I mentioned earlier, last year, around July, this time last year, I was pregnant and feeling really bad. Like I had a lot of morning sickness. And so by the time I felt well, it was really hot. And I lost all creative desire to be in my garden space. Despite that, I still got such a beautiful harvest. I mean, some things didn't make it, like my squash, but I got carrots, I got so many potatoes, I had onions, I had a lot of tomatoes, I had a few peppers, some corn, lots of okra. And all of that was because I started even though I didn't have the ability to perfectly follow through. So that is one thing. If you're trying to heal your perfectionistic tendencies, that's the first piece of advice I'd give you, is start even if you don't have the ability or time or experience to do it perfectly. Because obviously you're not going to be able to do it perfectly if you wait until you have all of those things, because you will never have all of those things. Another thing is commitments to yourself. And start small with the commitments. That's what's really helped me right now making these videos, is I made the commitment to show up. I made a commitment to post a video every day, no matter what. It could be, I didn't promise I'd make a perfect video every day. I didn't promise I'd make a certain length of videos. I promised myself that I would get out here in the morning and make a video. And if it has to be short because of the kiddos, it can be short. If it has to be less edited because I don't have time to edit, it can be. It's just making the commitment to show up. And then it's no longer about what it looks like when you show up. It's about keeping that commitment to yourself. Remember, with commitments, less is more, so don't make too many at once. But if you're committed to learning how to crochet, commit to showing up for 5 minutes every day, even if it looks terrible. And remember to give yourself credit for the good enough. Don't focus on, this doesn't look very good. Focus on fulfilling the commitment. Focus on the value it brings being good enough. So remember, you don't have to have a weed-free garden for it to bear fruit. You don't have to show up and create something perfect for it to have value. Let today be a reminder to show up and just act, and let that action be good enough.